Hello, hello, hello. It's Marcus Bruno Fine Properties. Let me get you on the right screen. I want to thank you guys for joining me on this video. I'm not going to be too long. I want to talk to you about the real estate market in February 2023. And I want to go into how to take advantage of this market. All right. So there's a lot of misconceptions. I'm sure you're seeing in the news and in the media, internet, uh, that we're in a buyer's market and prices are just crashing and things of that nature. So I'm going to try to clarify that a bit, and especially for the Houston, Texas market is really where my focus is. So uh, my phone number, in case you want to text or even call while I'm on the webinar, you can reach me at 281 969 3817. And I'm not sure we are broadcasting correctly, but hopefully we are. Hopefully we are. Give me a call if, or send me a text if there's any challenges with this broadcast. 281 969 3817. 281 969 3817. Hopefully you guys can hear me okay. All right, so let's get into it. So when we're talking about the real estate market, I want to first start at a national level, then we'll go down to a state level, which is Texas, where I do my most of my business, and then I'll even go into a local level, which is the Houston Woodlands area of um, Houston Woodlands, Sugarland, what they call an MSA, and I will go into what the market looks like and then how to take advantage of it, right? So let's look at. Sorry, I'm getting a little distracted. Okay, so look at this national market. So I went 25 years of real estate activity, and this is the amount of home sales that happened in the nation, and then uh, I would say around 2005, you can see a decline. That was a crash. All right. So now, fast forward up to 2020. This is around COVID. We had a slight dip. Then the market just went extremely hot, and now we're back down to where this dip was. Okay, so that's the national market. All right, when you're talking about the national market, when you're talking about the amount of inventory in the national market, though, you can see that we're at a very, very low amount. So there is still a housing shortage in the national market. Okay. So, yes, there are a lot less sales, right, in this market. But because the inventory is still low, you're not seeing prices just flatline. You're not seeing prices go down much, um, because there's still a lot of demand for homes, and not a lot of supply. Okay. So if we're looking at the average sales price of homes in the US, we are way, way up. I mean, never before has there been this many home sales. I'm sorry. Um, this never before has there been prices this high in this country. Okay. So buyers right now are facing low inventory, high rates, and they're facing high prices, right? So speaking of rates, let's talk about that. So right now, if you go to Zillow.com, and I'm going to post all of these links or all these websites that I'm visiting on the description of this video. But so right here, we are at about 6.5%. Looks like, okay. And as you can see, January, we went through a dip from December to January, and now we're headed back up. All right. And as you can see, around October, we were higher than the sevens almost. All right. So again, these rates aren't the lowest they've ever been, right? These rates, um, gosh, are they're higher than they've been in probably 10 years. I'm going to see if I have a slide somewhere that shows um, the uh, the the actual history on the rates. But right now we're at 6.5. So that's causing some challenges, right? So mortgage rates right now, I'm sorry, not mortgage rates, mortgage applications nationwide are where they were in 1995. So there is a huge dip in purchases and especially in refinances to the amount where there's a lot of mortgage companies that are going out of business right now. Again, if you want to give me a question, 281-969-3817. I'm monitoring my phones. I'm streaming on a lot of different platforms, so I'm not going to be able to monitor all the chats. But again, if you want to give me a call and ask me questions, I'd be more than happy to help. So let's talk about the Texas market. So in Texas right now, we are close to having the most amount of sales we've ever had. In fact, last year, there were over 400,000 sales in Texas alone. Okay. This year dipped under 360. I'm sorry, 2022 dipped around 367,000, which was lower than 2020. Okay. So I'm expecting this kind of pattern to happen that happened back in 2020, sorry, 2006. So 2006, 2007, 2008, the market declined and went into this kind of, dip right here. And I'm expecting that to happen again. All right. So let's look at the Houston market. So Houston activity, it mirrors almost the same numbers as the general Texas market, where um, last year, or I should say 2021, the hottest it's ever been with 111,000 sales in this Houston area, which is part of Woodlands and Sugarland. So that's North Houston, South Houston, all the way down to Galveston. And then last year we had a dip uh, to 98,000. So again, I'm expecting this kind of lull in the market that we've seen 15 years ago. And so expect prices to remain flat, I believe, in the next couple months for sure, and definitely in the year. It always depends on the mortgage interest rates, right? So let's talk about how to take advantage of this market. Okay, so the first thing you got to know when you're purchasing real estate, the first thing you got to know is it a buyer's market or is it a seller's market? Okay. Now, when we're talking about a buyer's market, we're talking about a market that looks something like this, right? Where there's like not a lot of buyers, there's not a lot of demand, and there's a ton of homes on the market. All right. And then when you're talking about a seller's market, it looks like this, where there's a lot of buyers, right? And a couple of homes for sale, right? And in that market, prices are going to be going up. Okay. Now, the tricky part is right now in the Houston area, there are some markets that are buyer markets and some buyers that are, I'm sorry, some markets that are buyer markets and some markets that are seller markets. All right. So it's very, very hyper local. Okay. Now, how do we judge if it's a buyer's market or a seller's market? So we look at the monthly housing inventory. Okay. So if we stop listing homes today and there was enough homes on the market that'll last 6 months, so there's activity where it'll take 6 months for all the buyers to buy up the homes, that is still a seller's market. Okay. Over that will be a neutral or buyer's market. Okay. So anything less than 6 month inventory means that prices are going to be going up. So that's why we're talking about a market that has, low sales, but low inventory. So that's why in some markets you're going to see prices still going up or not really going down, should say. All right, but there's some instances where we're seeing prices drop, and I'll show you that in a minute. So nationwide, we're still kind of in this 2.5%, 2.5 month inventory. That's right. Prices are still kind of going up. All right, another chart looks like this, where you can see in 2021, 2022, it dipped hard, right? Almost no inventory. And that's why prices were skyrocketing. And then now, we're kind of up there, not when you look at it historically, it's not really that high, but high enough to make the market change. Okay. Also, when it comes to the winter markets, um, inventory is just going to be lower. All right. And so this was the inventory in the last couple years, when you talk about new listings on the market. And you can see like December 2020, it was incredibly low, right? So that's why if you're a home buyer, you're still not seeing the kind of deals that you want to see. Okay. So you got to make those deals happen. And I'm going to show you how to do that. All right. Again, when we're talking about rates, we're up in the 6.5s today. All right. But that changes. That changes every day. Okay. Um, and then again, when we're talking about the rates and how they affect buyer demand, and this chart was done a couple weeks ago. You can see that when the rates get low into the sixes, there's pretty good buyer demand. But as you get up into the sixes, 6.5s, you're going to get limited buyer demand. All right. So what do you do about that, right? So what's happening right now? What can you do as a home buyer, with what's going on right now? So let's look at some more information here. So I think builders are where you're going to find the best deals at the moment. Why? Because builders are, they've got homes that they've got on the market that aren't selling, and then they have homes that are coming on the market, right? That they either have under contract or they've already paid everybody to get those homes built. So those homes are coming on the market. So builders right now are cutting their price. Meritage Homes cuts their prices by 20%. Even though, and I'm not even though, but look, their sales orders are collapsing by 46%. Toll Brothers, okay, last December, uh, inventory is down by 60%. Well, not inventory, their contracts. The buyers that are buying Toll Brothers homes have reduced by 60%. Let me show you some builders that are in the area, Lennar. Let me show you what they're doing with their home prices. Uh, this is in the Houston area. You know, this was down 50,000 for this home, down almost 30,000 for this home, down almost 50,000 for that home, 40,000 for the. That's Lennar. Cahovian giving $58,000 in savings to buyers who will come in the door. They'll they'll buy down an interest rate 4.75%. And I'll explain what buying down a rate is, but that's a huge incentive. Other incentives. This is Pulte Homes, dropping price of 6,000. This dropping this price by 11,000. To this home, they're dropping 8,000 for this home, 6,500 for this home. Let's take a look at another build. Perry Homes. Perry Homes will give you $25,000 in incentives, right? So one of the best things about this market is that you're getting price reductions and you're getting incentives at the same time. Which, man, really, it's been a long time since I've seen that, where builders are lowering their prices and they're paying closing costs. They're paying for closing costs, and I'll explain a little bit about what that is, in a minute. Here's another one. Taylor Morrison, at a community I sold a home in December. $50,000 price drop, plus paid all closing and paid to lower their mortgage rate. But for right now, they've got $61,000 reduction in this home, um, $37,000 reduction in this home, $20,000 reduction. So I'm thinking builders are going to be it's going to be the best place to get a really good deal. All right. Um, Now, I think that if you're buying a home in this market, okay, you've got three options to get a really low down payment. Okay, you've got VA, which is a veteran affairs loan. So if you're a veteran, you have the best loan option, which is no money down and no mortgage insurance. So you'll have the lowest payment. All right. FHA, 3.5% down, and conventional loan, 5% down. Now, in this market, okay, I'm going to recommend that if you want to take advantage of this market, go with an FHA mortgage. Okay. So there are pros and cons of going with an FHA mortgage. So an FHA mortgage is a mortgage that is guaranteed by the government. So they don't give you the loan, but they guarantee the loan. So they tell a lender, give this borrower a mortgage and I'm going to guarantee it. So if they can't pay the mortgage, I'm going to take it back. That's where HUD homes come from. A HUD home is a FHA mortgage that got foreclosed on by the government. All right. So if you get a FHA mortgage, you are guaranteeing yourself the lowest rates in the market. That's a benefit. Also, they are allowing the seller to give you 6% of the sales price as closing concessions. And I'll explain more of that in a bit. Um, Let me show you what you can do with an FHA mortgage. So with an FHA mortgage, you can purchase up to $472,000 home in Houston, Woodland, Sugarland area. Okay, so that's what they call the loan limit, right? And still go 3.5% down. You can also purchase a two-family home. So if you're thinking of buying a home and maybe, uh, hey, making a part of it an investment property, you can buy a two-family home up to 600,000, a three-family home up to 730,000. Now check this out: you can get a four-family home, a fourplex, for almost $1 million using an FHA loan. A lot of people don't know that, right? And you're paying 3.5% down. So I like FHA because of the low rate and the lower down payment. All right. But what I like most is the 6% closing concessions. I'm going to show you how to use it. All right. So first, let me talk about when you buy a home, you have to put down a down payment and closing costs. Okay. So you have to put down a down payment. As far as FHA, it's 3.5% down. Okay. But you also have to pay closing costs, taxes, prepaid taxes, insurance, prepaid insurance, lender fees, title fees, things like that. All right. So let me break down how much it would cost you to buy a home. Let's say in this example, it's a $300,000 home. Right. You're going to put down 3.5%. And then you're also going to put down about 2.5% in Texas. All right. Every state, every county is a little bit different with their closing costs. Okay. In Texas, you don't have to pay transfer taxes in Texas. A lot of states you do, but not in Texas. So our closing costs are a little bit lower here. All right. So 3.5% down, 300,000 is 10,500. That's how much your down payment would be. Okay. Your closing costs are going to come to about 2.5%, which in this scenario is going to be 7,500. So altogether, to buy a $300,000 home, you would need $18,000. All right. Now, here's the great thing about buying a home in this market. Okay. You can get down payment and closing cost assistance. All right. So you can have the state pay some of your closing costs. All right. And I'm not going to talk too much about that on this webinar, but that's possible. Okay. What I wanted to talk to you guys about is the seller concessions. Okay. You can have the seller pay your closing costs to the tune of, with the FHA, to the tune of 6%. So here's how you would use it. All right. So in this scenario, the seller is going to pay your closing costs. So you negotiate with the seller and you say, hey, seller, I know you're having trouble selling your home in this market, and I'm going to ask you to pay my closing costs. All right. So the seller can pay it. And so in this scenario, you reduce the money you would need to close to $10,500 from before you would need 18,000. Okay. Now, how likely is it that the seller is going to do this? Good question. So let's look back at the market. All right. So in the market right now in Houston, okay, in Houston, which which is this squiggly line here. All right. This is the amount of homes that are dropping in price. Okay. Which is to the tune of 25% of homes are dropping their prices. So one out of every four homes are having problems selling and they're dropping their price. Okay. So in my opinion, you got a 1 in 4 chance of getting a seller to pay your closing costs, right? So instead of dropping their price, let them pay your closing costs. Or if you have a great agent to negotiate for you, you can get them to drop their price and pay your closing costs. All right. Now we're at $10,500. Okay. What else can we do? Okay. Now you're hearing in the news, you're hearing in the media this phenomenon called a seller paid buy down, right? So right now, it's very common to get the seller to pay down your interest rate. In fact, with the builder, it's very, very common to. So most builders are offering it. And the reason why they're offering it, like Khoven, they're offering to lower the rate to 4.75% because it allows them to sell a home that you may not qualify for. But if they could buy your rate down, now you qualify for the home. So most lenders are offering to do that. Okay. So here's the cool thing, right? Using your FHA mortgage. Okay. Back to my screen. You're using your FHA mortgage and you got them to pay your closing at 2.5%. Ha, but hold up, you're allowed to get 6% closing concessions, right? So now you can use that extra 3.5% to buy your rate down. And let me show you what that does. Okay, so Zillow has a very good website when you're trying to just calculate mortgages very quickly. Okay, so back to our example, $300,000 sales price. You're going to go 3.5% down. Okay, the interest rate right now is 6.35%. Okay, 6.35% if you went for FJ mortgage today. Actually, I'm not sure if this is the FHA mortgage rate, but let's just use this as an example. Okay, so now let's say you use that extra 3.5% from the seller. So you can negotiate with the seller, and you said, seller, I'm gonna buy your house, but you gotta give me 6% closing assistance. Okay. And that extra 3.5% qualified you to get a 5% interest rate. So now you went from a $2,400 payment down to a $2,100 payment. So you saved close to $300. Okay, which over the life of the loan is going to be a whole lot. All right. So you can use an FHA mortgage to pay your closing assistance and then also, I'm sorry, pay your closing costs, but then also pay down the interest rate, which saves you $300 a month. So that's one. So those are two ways to take advantage of this market. Now, the third way is if you can also qualify for state local down payment assistance. Okay. State local down payment assistance. Texas has a very good bond program, will pay your whole down payment. All right. So back to this 300,000 scenario. You get the seller to pay a portion of your closing costs. You get the state to pay a portion of your down payment or all your down payment, and you can buy a house with no money down. This is real, folks. I've been doing this for years. So take advantage of this if you are, especially a first time homebuyer. So that's right. Let me slow down a little bit and then go backwards. To get down payment assistance, you got to be a first time homebuyer. Okay. And that's not, and you don't always want it because with down payment assistance, there's some drawbacks. You're not going to be able to get that low rate. You're not going to be able to buy down the rate. They're not going to let you get down payment assistance, closing costs help, and buy your rate down. That would be super sweet, but eventually, but unfortunately, they're not letting you do that much. All right, but you can really get a home with little money if you use down payment assistance, and then if you have the $10,000 to buy $300,000 home, why not get the seller to pay all your closing, and then take extra if the seller's going to contribute more, get your rate paid down too. All right. So that was basically what I wanted to get into on this very quick real estate market update. If you are interested in getting approved for a mortgage, right, that would be the next step. Okay, you can visit my website at springhomesearch.com and and you can just hit the contact. I'll show you on my website where you would go. So if you want to get approved for a mortgage, visit my website, springhomesearch.com. All right. Hopefully the website opens. All right. Come on now. Um, there is a about me section and hit contact us. All right. About me section, hit contact us, or you can go to search springhomesearch.com/contact, and you can get approved for mortgage. You can always call me at 281-969-3817. All right. And I will hook you up with some options for a lender that you could use. Again, if you guys have any questions, please reach out to me. Let's see. Let's see. Okay. So I'm going to be signing off now. I want to thank you so much. I appreciate the opportunity to help you. Thank you for visiting my brief webinar here. And I will do one of these market updates every year. Of course, every year. I will do one of these market updates every month. Um, Let me show you one more chart. If you're still on this video that I forgot to show, this is a weekly activity snapshot. This is a chart I look at every week. And it's for the Houston Association. It's from the Houston Association of Realtors. It's specifically for the Houston market. And in this chart, the first thing I look at are pending listings. Pending listings tell you how many real buyers are out there, right? So real buyers put homes under contract, right? And pending listings are basically the result of buyers shopping and deciding to put a home under contract. And as you can see in Houston right now, there are 25% less real buyers on the market versus last year this time. Earlier this year, it was down over 30%. So I'm going to be following this trend, and I'm telling you, if this pending listing, if these pending listings go down further than 25, 30%, you're going to see prices drop. They'll have no choice to but drop. If someone wants to sell their home and some sellers have to sell, some of them are going into foreclosure, some of them are getting a divorce, some of them are buying new homes. So they're going to have to drop the price. And so we're going to be watching these pending listings from month to month. Another thing I look at are showings. Now, here's the crazy part. Showings, they're down, um, but they're only down 8%. So buyers are still out here. They're just not going for overpriced homes, right? They're just not going for it. And what happened is the market got so hot that, and there were so few homes on the market that buyers were willing to do anything to get a home. And so that's one of the reasons why the prices went so high the last couple of years. But with these rates staying where they are, I'm not too sure the market's going to stay as hot, right? So where these 30-year rates are, I'm just not sure that it's sustainable, that the market's going to stay um, hot. So you're opening yourself up to getting some really good deals, right? Especially from builders. And then if you have some, if you do see a home on the market that you have to write an offer on, fortunately, you can uh, most likely get a lower price. Again, 25% of homes right now are dropping their price. All right. So um, I want to thank you so much for watching my video. Marcus Bruno, signing off.